Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddha. First of all, I pay my humble salutation to Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. My humble salutation to Bada Bhanteji, Guru Bhanteji, and all the Mahasangha present here. My dear monks and upasaka, upasika who are in person here, gathered here and online. Lots of greetings to you for your well-being. First of all, I want to say happy Madupurnima to one and all. As we are commemorating this Madupurnima and very special day for all of us. So on this day, today, I'm going to talk about a beautiful Dhamma speech, Dhamma talk. All of you, you should listen mindfully and take what should be taken for your mind and for the practice of your spiritual practice and progress. No? So today I'm going to talk about the cloak of saintliness seen through the mask of deceit. Have you understood what I mean? Okay, let me explain. The cloak is to hide the truth, and mask is to deceive others. Saintliness is, the saint. Saint is the wise man or sage or hermit. So saintliness is holiness or purity. So the title means that sometimes people wear a mask of saintliness, cloak of saintliness, an outer show of purity, an outer show of purity, discipline, or holiness, pretending they are very holy being, but inside, but it looks something impressive, isn't it? But inside, their intentions may be uh, uh, selfish, greediness, and harmful, isn't it? So the true saintliness, Lord Buddha says, true saintliness is not in robe or clothes or rituals or words or performance, but it is found in our heart. It is found in honesty. It is found in our wisdom and compassion, Lord Buddha says. So Dhamma is teaches us not to be fooled by any outer appearances, but to look deeper into reality, to look deeper to see what is true, what is false, what is right and wrong. So, okay, now let me share an interesting story of ancient story that shows this very lesson Lord Buddha gives. The Lord Buddha gives a beautiful story for this. This story was expounded by the Blessed One while he was residing at Jetavana monastery about a certain hypocritical monk. So when the monk's hypocrisy was reported to the Buddha, then the Buddha said, listen carefully, huh? Then the Buddha said, this is not the first time he has shown himself to be a hypocrite. He was the same in the past life also. So then the Buddha recounted this ancient story of wisdom. So once on a time in the deep silent forest, one very extraordinary rat was living in that forest. So he was wise as a rishi. He had his own followers. Many hundreds of other rats are living with him, and he was the leader of the West community. In fact, he was kind and clear, compassionate, and concerned with the welfare of all his followers. So, in that same forest, there also lived a jackal. Jackal, the rat and jackal. So, there also lived a jackal. But this jackal was not content with scraps nor with honesty. He was cunning fellow. So, even he was bored, and he wore the mask of virtue. So he stood each day on one leg, He stood each day on one leg with eyes closed, mouth open, and facing to the sun and pretending to be a holy ascetic, And when the rat king was uh, out on his road in quest of food, that time he saw him and considered the jackal to be a saintly being, I mean holy ascetic. Then he went up and asked his name. What's your name, my dear? Then the jackal replied, my name is God, and godly is my name. So how easily appearances deceive, isn't it? So now the rat king also again asked him again, why do you stand? Why do you stand only on one leg? So is it your practice? Is it your spiritual practice? He asked him, and he said, because if I stood on two legs at once, the earth could not bear my weight. So that is why I stand only on one leg. Then again he asked him, why do you keep your mouth open? He said, to take the air. I live on air, and this is only my food. So like that. And again, he asked him, why do you face to the sun? Very sunny at that time. So why do you face to the sun? He said, to worship him. That's all. And this is my practice. This is my way of spiritual practice. Then the rat king was so surprised, and he was so impressed with his practice. What an uprightness and his holiness. He was so impressed with his practice and holiness and believed in him. So from then onwards, every morning and evening, he lead his entire troop of rats to pay homage to the jackal. So, but behind the stillness of the jackal's posture was a different truth. Each day, each time, the rat surpasses away. Why? Because the jackal snatch the rats each by each, one by one, and eat the last one, and licking his leaves, pretending as though nothing had happened after that. So in consequence of this, day by day, the rats are becoming fewer and fewer, lesser and lesser. So, but at last, the wisdom arose in the rat king. So the rat king was observing carefully, very carefully, mindfully, and noticed the pattern of his action. So he noticed his pattern. He suspected a deceit. So next day, instead of leading from the front, he walked at the end of the line. As usual, the jackal was thinking it was just another easy meal. So when the rat king turned and saw him, he didn't run and he didn't tremble, and he didn't get any fear of him. In fact, he spoke truth. He spoke truth with him. So he said, so this is your saintliness, this is your holiness, you hypocrite and you rascal, you stupid idiot. He shouted at him that time. So he shouted at him, and so then truth cutting through illusion, the rat king sprung at the jackal's throat and struck him down. So, and with that ended the suffering, ended the deceit once for all. So then after that, all of them returned to their home and lived. For the first time in a long time, they lived peacefully, no longer any deceived by any outer appearances, no longer blindly trusting a mask. So then the Buddha, after recounted this ancient, very interesting story, Buddha said, that jackal is none other than the hypocritical monk. So do you know what does it mean? So my dear friends, what does this story teach us? Have you understood? What does this story teach us? First of all, this story teaches us to be wise. this story teaches us to be wise, not to take every display or pity at face value or show off. Huh? So, um, and not to be dazzled by any clothes or rituals or any performance or any sweet words. So, like that, we should train ourselves, we should think that which is impossible to do for our spiritual practice. So, even in the community, even in the community, even in places where the virtue is expected, we must remain mindful. But we must be remain mindful with the Dhamma. The Dhamma is the Dhamma is not about the outer appearance, but it is inner integrity, inner wisdom, and it is not about pretending to be pure, but truly living with wisdom and compassion. So these are the Buddha's teaching we should adopt and practice ourselves. So, so live peacefully and happily. So indeed, carries deep Dhamma lessons on discernment, sincerity, and unity in the and dangers of and understanding the dangers of hypocrisy. The jackals represent those who wear the cloak of saintliness. So story is mean that. So so Buddha says, do not be deceived by any outer appearances, just as the rat king saw through the jackal's false asceticism. We must look beyond of displays. We must look beyond of a show off, so show off in words. So just in the same way, in Kalama Sutta also, Lord Buddha says, do not believe something just because it looks respectable or it comes from tradition. But Buddha says, taste it whether it leads to goodness or whether it leads to wholesomeness or unwholesomeness, wholesome results or unwholesome results. We should taste it by ourselves, within ourselves, Lord Buddha says. So, in the same way, just as the rat king noticed the reducing of his community, the rats, the community, investigated with sharp mindfully. In the same way, mindfulness, when we practice our mindfulness, mindfulness allows us to see the pattern, avoid the harm, and uncover the hidden intentions. So the true spiritual practice is not a mask, but a way of living, peace. So like that, the rat king did not tremble at that time when he saw him, and but exposed him directly. So like that, the Dhamma also teaches us. Dhamma also encourages us a fearlessness in truth, isn't it? So let us not become cynical. Let us become discerning. Lord Buddha is trying to make us to be practiced on his path. So let us not become cynical, but let us become discerning. Let our hearts be open for goodness. Let our eyes be clear, but not judgmental. Let our mouth be pure and sweet for others, but not for judgmental. Let us not worship those blindly, but grounded in truth and humility, Lord Buddha says. So likewise, live your life peacefully. I wish all of you all of us live with peacefully, happily in our day-to-day life and practice as well. So because our life, life is so beautiful. Each day, each hour, each minute is a moment that will never return again. So let us let go all of your worries and problems. Embrace the present. Be happy, and wherever you are, just as you are. Okay, this is the story of the small interesting story, and as we have gathered here today, I want to share a few essence of today's importance. That is today's commemoration of the Madupurnima. So let me share a few words of that essence. Dear friends, the Dhamma, today as we have gathered here to honor the Madupurnima. So Madupurnima, the honey full moon festival or honey full moon day. So a day that shines with the sweetness of faith, with the sweetness of faith, with the sweetness of devotion and harmony. So long ago, during the Buddha's time, um, Buddha's retreat in the Parilya forest, maybe you have heard this story. So Parilya forest, a compassionate monkey was living there, and he offered sweet, simple honeycomb to the Buddha, and the Buddha accepted that honey very kindly. So then this monkey, with the overjoyed that he has offered that honey to the Buddha, with overjoyed he leaping excitedly to from the tree to tree and fell down and died there. So though he lost his life in that moment, but his pure of devotion carried him to rebirth in the Tower Things of heaven immediately right in there. So this story reminds us that um, even the humblest of the offering is when the given with sincerity, when given with faith and devotion, it becomes a boundless marriage. So it teaches us eternal values of charity, eternal values of compassion and unity, living in harmony and with the nature and all beings. So Madupurnima also carries an important lesson. That lesson is, Lord Buddha says, it is better to live. It is better to live in peace alone than to live with foolish companions who cause suffering. So who caused you suffering? So do not live with him. Do not with such people. So this is the importance. And um, so Lord Buddha gives a beautiful story of this Dhamma for this. And today, this Madupurnima gives boundless merits for all of us, those who are observing, those who are commemorating in this day. So Madupurnima also reminds us the kindness is timeless, and harmony is like a universal. Peace begins or peace comes from within. Just as honey is sweet and pure, our minds, so too should our thoughts, our minds, our words, our deeds flow with the sweetness of the Dhamma. So may all of us be like a wise rat, be courageous, observant, and unafraid to deceit with the truth for everything. We can face for everything and we can achieve what we are thinking, because Lord Buddha says, what we think we become, right? So that's why think positive in your mind, think positivity and think creative so that you can achieve what you think you become. So may the light of this Madupurnima be a part of our life, be a part of our light for our goodness, for our happy life. So this is a very short story, short message to all of you for today's Dhamma talk. So I won't give much Dhamma talk. Thank you so much. May all beings be happy and well.
So, this occasion of Madupurnima as um, that you have heard. And it is also very special. It is also very special because this honey was offered to Lord Buddha by a monkey. There was a time when Lord Buddha was spending the Vasavasa in Parileya forest. It is times the animals have more wisdom than human beings. So goodness is not something, or wisdom, goodness, virtue, it doesn't depend on your status. It doesn't depend on your social position, financial position, or any of the name or fame that you enjoy. It doesn't depend on any of this. Whether you are wise or not, that makes the difference. Sometimes people, say for example, people may come to the vihara, and so then they may see the monks, but they may not ask anything useful for them. They just come and see the monks and go. Or they may come to the vihara and then they see the monks are meditating or chanting or giving blessing to somebody, or somebody is offering dana, but they may not be inclined to know what is that, what is this thing, what is this special about, what can we do about it, what can we do something, can we learn something, can we practice something. So it depends, it depends on person to person. So any of these social, financial, name, fame, position, nothing determines your speciality, only your wisdom, only your ability to understand what is right and what is wrong, what you should do and what you should avoid, what you learn and what you should not learn or let go or unlearn. This is what makes you special. Everything else is ordinary, because people, even human beings, for example, human beings sometimes they live for 70, 80, 100 years. Lord Buddha said, living 100 years unwisely is not useful. Living one day wisely is much more useful. In the Dhammapada, he says. So, living the development of wisdom is far more important. What is right? What should be done? What should I do? What is good? What should I learn? What should I practice? What should I avoid? This is fundamental. If we learn like this, then we can develop our minds. But if we learn something else, or we have our mind full of wrong ideas, or maybe full of ego, or full of pride, full of wrong views, then even if we live for a long time, or apparently if we even if we are whatever we are able to earn or be successful or do other things, still it is empty inside, because without wisdom, without the right understanding, samadhi, things have no value. It is like you take a big bowl of milk and then you put some dirt in this, a pinch of soil, pinch of sand or dirt, then the whole milk is spoiled. So our goodness, our merit, our virtue, all these is depends on our wisdom, our right understanding. This is why the Lord Buddha said samadhi is the foundation of spiritual practice. Without the right understanding, there is no spiritual practice, because people can follow the rites and rituals, people can follow many things, many things, but then if they don't have the right view, the right understanding, then whatever they follow is like they accumulate something, but then it's still not so good, not so useful. Once you put a pinch of dirt in the milk, you cannot drink it, it is wasted. So this full moon day, on this occasion, it is also a time to remember all these points, that our wisdom is our real wealth, our virtue is our real wealth, our mindfulness is our real wealth. When we say wealth, means something that will be useful to us. So it has to be valuable, it has to be useful. For example, somebody who has 20 cars, he's very rich, or maybe 50 cars. But he is bedridden, he is paralyzed. Then what is the use of 50 cars? Not even one he cannot use. So it is not wealth. It is not useful. This is not a property. This is not a useful something. This is just valuable, but not useful. But somebody has only one car, but he is healthy and he can travel anywhere. Then this is well useful for him. So you have to always look at the usefulness of things, what you have and what you can use, and use for something right. That what makes it special. People can use, for example, somebody can be very greedy about food and then keep on eating, but then this type of this thing is not useful, because if you eat too much, this and that, someday you will fall sick. You will have a long, big health problem. But if you know how to eat in moderation, and if you know how to share with others, then you have merits and you have good health. So everything has right use and wrong use. And this wisdom tells us the right use and wrong use. Things can be used in the right way, things can be used in the wrong way. And that balance comes from wisdom, the right understanding. That's why development of samadhi, right view, is so important. It is fundamental to the teachings of Lord Buddha. And this is what differentiates the teachings of Lord Buddha from other people. People just tell. It's not that in other religions or other philosophies or everywhere else people don't teach good things. Sometimes they also teach good things. Okay, you can follow some moral precepts, or you can give some dana, or you can do something good. But then without the right view, this is still not so powerful. And this is what, that's why the teachings of the Buddha are special, because they not just tell you to do the good things, they develop the power of goodness to the highest level of Nibbana. This is the power of the teachings that the Samma Sambuddha, out of compassion, given us. And we should always be grateful. And not just today, not just every day, we should be grateful in our mind that the supremely enlightened Buddha, out of his great compassion, taught people what is right they should do, what is wrong they should avoid. And this is a matter that is we have to take, each one of us must take seriously in our lives, because other people can only tell us, or sometimes they may not even tell us. But if we are thinking, oh, what can we do for my benefit? What can I follow? What can I practice? Then you are atta samma panidhicha etang mangalamuttamam, guiding oneself on the right path. So you must guide yourself along with, whether you receive instructions or guidance or teachings. Sometimes you receive and sometimes you don't. But you must guide yourself, because ultimately your mind is your own, and your good and bad is also your own. Your wisdom and ignorance is also your own. And this is, you must take care and not depend on other people. Because at the end of the day, you have no choice of saying, other people told, oh, I have suffering, I am going to die. And then after death, maybe that person will be reborn in a very lower and unpleasant and unhappy destination. He has no option of saying, oh, other people told, that's why I did bad things. That law of karma doesn't listen. It is very precise. You decide, you act, and you get the result. There is nobody else responsible. Self-responsibility is fundamental for spiritual development. Other people, no. We can say 100 things, but it's not useful. It's not real. It will not come and help us. So when you do with the right view, so when you do the dana with the right view, then it is useful. For example, many people giving dana, sangha dana today. Sangha dana given to the sangha. Lord Buddha had said, if you are giving to the sangha in the Dakkina Bevanga Sutta, then it is of the highest of merits, an immeasurable merit, greatest of merits. But why? Because the sangha, when you give, first you dedicate it to the Buddha himself, dedicate it to all his enlightened disciples, all the great Arahant Theras and Arahant Theris, Arahant monks and nuns, and then all the Arya disciples, noble disciples, and also all the monks and nuns and lay and all the Dhamma followers who are trying to practice for liberation, not trying to practice for how much money I can earn, how much name and fame I can earn, how much property I can collect. It's not. They are trying just for the sake of, okay, how can I be free from the suffering? That is the fundamental thing. And so when somebody is thinking beyond ordinary things, then it is extraordinary thought. And when you appreciate that extraordinary thought, when you appreciate that extraordinary effort, then you are appreciating something higher than all other worldly things. This is why it is special. The appreciation of goodness is goodness. Appreciation of highest goodness is highest merit. So that is why it is. You have to understand correctly why did Lord Buddha teach like this. If you appreciate wrong people, if you appreciate people who tell lies, if you appreciate people who harm other people, if you appreciate people who are doing wrong actions, then you are appreciating something very low, very inferior, bad. And that is something you should not. Because if you appreciate bad things, your mind is unwise and lowly. But if you appreciate good, then your mind is high and superior. So here and now, you can make it worthy or you can make it bad. This is all up to us, moment to moment. And these are things we must remember on this every day, not just today, full moon day, and also on special days. Special days are also kind of reminders. Reminders, okay, today is a special day, I go to the vihara. But not just for going to the vihara, to listen to something good, to practice something good, to cultivate something good. And whatever we have forgotten, we recollect those things. Sometimes you may forget, you may be busy, you may have many things to do, so you may forget. So coming is also a type of recollection of the right things when you come here to the Bihara to attend the Dhamma programs.